All right. So interesting to be on at this time of the day. There's actually natural sunlight coming in my bling room. So I'm going to give you, lovely people, just a moment, and then we'll get this thing started. Let me get off of my Wi-Fi on my phone because, of course, that can give us a little bit of a problem. Hey, Ash, what's up? Hello, hello. I'm going to give your team just a minute to get on in here. What's up there, Ash? Hi, Crystal. How are you, lovelies? So good to see you. Let's turn that off. I invoiced last night, so that always, as I'm hearing that sound, I'm like, ooh, I invoiced last night. It's like a little slot machine. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, that's what it's like. Again, give you just a minute. As I like to tell my team, go grab a notebook, because the goal with this is for you to walk away with some ideas and some pointers and some things that you can actually use in your business. So I'm going to give you a bunch of information, and you know, I come on here with an idea of what I think I'm going to say, and then as I'm talking, sometimes some other little things come out. So you know what? I see a few people on. Hey, Crystal. Hello, hello. You two made me laugh last night, by the way. Thank you for the entertainment while I was invoicing. I think every Monday night and Thursday night when I'm invoicing, you need to come on with your fun live, because it was it certainly made hours of invoicing much more enjoyable. All right, so let me jump in. In case you don't know me, it's interesting because as time goes on, more and more people do know who I am, and then there's brand new people in the company who they're like, no, I've never seen, and I'm like, all right, cool, refreshing, here we go. So I'm Heidi Bound, and I am here in New York City, and Ash and Crystal invited me to come in and share some hopefully juicy little nuggets with you. I'm going to start out just briefly giving you my paparazzi resume. Forgive me if I cough a bit. I had that fun flu that everybody had, so right now it's just a little bit of a lingering cough. And I have two Pomeranians, one that's 14 years old that just barks because he likes to still hear his voice, and forgive me if that happens. We're also waiting on, hey Allison, we're waiting on some jewelry, so you may hear that. New York City, yes, it's what you see on TV. They ring a buzzer and, you know, everything gets a little bit crazy. So that may happen too. So just let me preface with the fact that you may hear some New York City kinds of things going on as we go. So I have been with Paparazzi since the beginning of July 2017. In a really short time, which is not the norm. It's not the norm, let's put it out there. But we'll tell a little bit about my story here in just a minute. In a really short time, I hit Black Diamond, which we didn't even know was a thing at that time. I was one of the first 7. I earned the coveted Z necklace. So yes, I'm Heidi of the Heidi. I hit Crown Club 25 and I hit Elite, and all of those things happened within a year. Oh, thanks, Crystal. So my story is one that can be quite lengthy, so I'll give you sort of the condensed version. I want to really make it crystal clear to you that all of the things that I accomplished in this business in a short time happened while I was teaching. So I was a teacher for 23 years. I know, I started when I was like 10. Yeah. I was teaching for 23 years, and I was really struggling for a long time with the educational system. As a special education teacher, I spent most of my career in the inner city, here in New York City, in some tough neighborhoods. Like, I'm a tough cookie. I taught in the South Bronx, in Harlem. Like, I've taught in some places where there were gang activities and shootings. Like, it was an intense job. So I wasn't going and going to a school where everything was just, glitter and butterflies and roses all the time. We were dealing with some serious issues. If you've ever had to take kids and hide them under tables because there was a shooting at 2:30 in the afternoon, then come talk to me. That's what I was dealing with. But the educational system for me, it was never the kids. It wasn't even that situation. It was the system that for a long time didn't make sense, right? This whole idea of constantly testing kids. If you have kids, thanks, Nicole. This is the Heidi. If you have kids, about all the testing that goes on. And for a really long time, I would say to my husband, like, I can't keep doing this. Like, I want to teach kids how to read. I don't want to teach kids how to fill in little bubbles, right, on a test. And I really struggled with that for quite some time. But when you get locked into your thing, right, like I'm a nurse or I'm the manager at this store, like that's it, you feel like it defines you. So I felt like I was defined as a teacher, and how in the world do you like burst out of that, right? So really long story short, I stumbled upon Paparazzi just because I like jewelry and I like fashion. My mom instilled that in us. She always said, don't leave the house without your lip gloss. So my sponsor was selling Paparazzi, and I became, oh, thank you, Ash. I became a really fast customer of hers, and I was like, I'm watching her from a distance. And what some people don't know is that I was with another direct sales company for about 10 years, and I was super successful, but as successful as I could be with it was a great company. They still exist, but it was the kind of company where if people weren't into the product, you needed to spend a lot of time convincing them that the product was what they needed to enhance their life versus what we do, which, everybody loves our jewelry. So there's no convincing there. So I came to Paparazzi with some skills in selling. I came to Paparazzi in problem solving with, some tough situations with what I was dealing with my career. And I came to Paparazzi not afraid to turn on the camera, because I'm that girl that like, give me the microphone and I'm happy. So I ended up really long, I could go very winded on my personal, journey, but I realized around this time a year ago, I was with my husband, and I was like, listen, we're making crazy money, a lot more money. Like, I was making more money in a month with Paparazzi than it would take me several months of teaching. And I was like, we could do this full time. And my husband's a freelance musician, plays on Broadway. He's on a lot of some big recordings that you hear with some famous artists. And so he gets that whole lifestyle, right, of being your own boss. And so he was like, listen, whatever you want to do, you do it. Hey, Mary. Hi, everybody. And so he was 1,000,000% behind me, which I know a lot of people, that's not the case, right? So that could be a little bit of a struggle for you. When we realized that we could do this full time, we went all in. And there were 2 different week-long breaks that the New York City schools had. And Marty, my husband, said, you know what, work this thing like it's a full-time thing. We're not going to go like hang out and do fun things over the break, see what happens. Well, we sold 2,000 pieces. It was about a year ago during that break. 2,000. Okay, wrap your brain around that for a second. And then 6 weeks later, there was another break. And hi, Jen. And I, had the same conversation with Marty, work it full time. We sold during that week another, roughly 2,000 pieces. Now, keep in mind, I was doing all of those things. Like, that's the part that, even with my own team, there are no excuses. If you want something bad enough, you figure out how to make it work. I was teaching all day. I just gave you the scenario on where I was teaching. I would come home. Now, I could have easily thrown myself in a pair of leggings or pajamas and popped myself on the couch and been like done, like mentally depleted, finished. But I had a goal. And my goal, when I realized it was possible, my goal was I'm leaving public education at the end of this school year, right? That was my goal. So my goal was huge. My goal was one where I said, you know what, I have either got to make this happen, because here's the deal. If I wanted to leave public education, it had to be at the end of June, right? Because otherwise, if I retired any other time during any other school year, I'd be a hypocrite. And in that, what I mean by that is I always said I was there for the kids. So if I had walked away, like let's say I waited, right? If I waited and I was like right now, like, oh, yeah, I could do paparazzi full time. If I had walked away, I'd be walking away from the kids. So I left at the end of a school year on the very last day of school, right? So my goal was retiring. That was my goal. Now, through that being that's a big goal, right? Some of you might be like, oh, I'm trying to pay the babysitter, or oh, my kid wants to be in gymnastics, or, you might have goals that are big for you. Retiring from a 23-year teaching career is a huge deal. Was I ever scared? Not so much. They do miss me, but I hear from some of them. But I had this goal in my head, and that was it. So people say to me all the time, like, how did you get a Z necklace? How did you hit Black Diamond? Well, the truth is there's no magic dust, right? There's no magic dust. There's no magic formula. I can't say to you, oh, well, sit down and do this mathematical equation and you'll figure out how to get a Z. No way. Because here's the deal. Black Diamond happened for me, the Z necklace happened for me, Elite happened for me, and Crown Club 25 in less than a year while I was teaching full time happened for me because, ready? Who just filled in the blank? Because I worked my business. Because I had a goal that was bigger than me, right? And I was starting to say, was I scared? I felt at peace, right? I knew that if I wanted it, because that's me, if I wanted it bad enough, it would happen because I would make it happen, okay? So no magic dust, no mathematical Z collection equation. Sorry, if you came here for that, I can't give you that. I can't say if you do this, 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 and this, this is what happens, okay? It doesn't work like that. What I can tell you is that there are some basic things, and I'm sure that Crystal and Ash, you hear them say it over and over and over again. I'm going to give you those basics again, and I'm going to tell you from me what those basics look like. All right, so yes, people ask me all the time, and you can ask me questions. Like, again, I was a teacher, so when you sit there silently, it makes me a little bit nervous. I taught 4th and 5th grade. They don't sit quietly. They interrupt. I was going live twice a week while I was teaching, like it was my job, okay? I was going live for no less than 3 hours, okay? Do I have kids at home? I do not. I had a full-time special ed job in the inner city, okay? So I was coming home, and on those nights when I had to go live, that was it. It didn't matter if I broke up 4 fights that day, right? It didn't matter. It didn't matter if I had a parent that came and was like in my face, because it happened, right? It didn't matter. The lives, my customers, the reason that I became successful so fast is that my customers knew that, and I forget the times now because it feels like, oh my gosh, like many chapters ago, but it was twice a week for at least 3 hours. I think a Monday, or no, a Wednesday. I think I did Wednesday and Sunday at that point. So it was Sunday night. I was showing at least 50 different styles. I also became one of the people that started doing sets, right? People were starting to dabble with this idea of like showing these together and upselling, right? That was like one of the things I was really known for. But I was doing my lives no matter what, because I had this goal. And when I would come home like, oh, like this, right? You come home like that, or your kid's driving you crazy. What is your goal? Is your goal to reach Life of the Party bronze? And if it is, it should be gold, by the way, because that's where the perks actually really kick in. Side note. Is your goal to pay off the credit card? Whatever the goal is, whatever your why is, that's it. Your why. I would say to people, I don't make money laying in my bed. I don't like money laying in my bed. Get up, get moving. So my live schedule was locked in. I was like, it was a part of my being. I also, in my lives, I'm very just an open book, clearly, right? There's no filter in how I present myself, and that's what I did when I would go on to my lives, is that people would get this true, authentic me, and that's where that connection happened. I hit diamond January of last year. So while I was teaching, I hit diamond. Again, I went to convention as diamond, and yes, Allison, dabble with sets. I'm telling you, upselling is the key. So I hit diamond. I went to convention as diamond. Little did I know that black diamond was going to be a thing. But people ask me, like, how did you get there? I am a firm believer in, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about inventory. Lives, you know the deal. I'm not going to tell you any secret about a live. Turn on the camera and go live, right? I can't give you a secret on that. It is what it is. When it comes to your inventory, hey, Cindy, two things. One, if you don't have it, you can't sell it. Write that down. Hopefully you have a notebook. If you don't have it, you can't sell it. And I'm going to give you another quote, and you can put my name next to this one, okay? Don't think about the sales you got. Think about the sales you missed. Now, this is what I mean. How many times do you go into a live and you go in with the Viper earrings and you have 5 of these and you're like, yes, I'm going to kill it tonight. I'm going to sell all 5. And you show them and you get those 5 gals that are drooling over these, and you knew they would, right? But you have 10 more people that wanted these, okay? Don't think about those 5 you got. Think about those 10 you didn't. You missed out on 10 people. Now, here's the thing. You might be like, oh, it's okay. They understand. Here's what happens. This is the key. This is the big thing, okay? If you continue to miss that person, if they become the person that didn't get the Viper, they're leaving you and they're going to shop with me. Okay? I'm just going to keep it real. Keep it real. That's it. I mean, Crystal and Ash know. If they don't get these because you didn't have enough for them, they're not going to shop with you. They're going to leave you and come to me or Crystal. I mean, you could use me as sort of a global entity in this, okay? Because people come to your show to have fun and to get what they want, okay? Now, there are going to be those pieces that you have 2 of or 1 of, but if it's the hot item, if they want the blessed bracelet and you only bought 4, you could have potentially, you know how many of those brown blessed bracelets I sold in a day? 200. 200 in one day. Why? Because I had them. Make sense? If I didn't have them, they'd go to Crystal. If you go to Target and you go there repeatedly and there's the shoes that you keep seeing but they never have your size, right? They never have your size. Where are you going? Somewhere else. You're not going to keep going back to Target. And we'll use Target as your thing to think about as well. If you're like, well, I go live once a week for 2 hours. If Target were open once a week for 2 hours, would you go to Target? You wouldn't. Okay? You need to think about yourself as a business. If you are truly a business, then your behaviors need to be those of a business. I am open 24 hours a day. I am not live 24 hours a day, but I have a business page that blows up 24 hours a day. I sold 1,800 pieces last week. And this isn't me bragging for you. The message I want you to walk away from today, and I'm getting like all, I'm gonna get all sweaty. The message that I want you to walk away from is if you want something bad enough, you do it. You do it. You make it happen. Okay, so inventory, let me give you a few little tips. Okay, and something, get the notebook. One, you need to be keeping track of what's popular with your customers. If you are selling brass and nobody's nibbling on the brass, don't buy as much brass for a little while, okay? You'll slowly introduce that. But if you're showing gunmetal and you can't keep it in stock because people are gobbling it up, then if you've only been buying 10 of a certain gunmetal piece, your next order, you buy 12 or maybe 15 of a hot gunmetal piece. Are you following me? Okay, so keep little notes. I used to write things down. That's why the starter kit is so good, because it gives you a little nibble of all different kinds of things. Okay, so you write that down. What are people loving? If you keep buying orange sandstone and people are like, stop putting your money there for a little while, right? Stop putting your money into orange sandstone. I'm just using that as stop putting your money there, but put it with what people want. And then slowly, like I could not sell a wooden piece if somebody paid me to do it. I couldn't sell the big wooden necklaces, so I stopped buying them for a while, right? Then I started bringing back the ones that I had. I called them vintage, and now I can't keep wooden pieces in stock, right? So it's all business behavior. Okay, so I want you to start doing that. I want you to also think of it this way, okay? Whatever you sell this week, I want you to keep track. Okay, today's what? Tuesday, right? So from one week to another, I keep track. And the way that I keep track is that I use labels during my lives, and there are 50 labels on here. I write people's names on them and I slap them on the jewelry, right? It's really fast. I don't do in the baskets. I don't do that. It's very fast. So as I'm doing that, I lost my, this is why I need to write things down, because I start, lost my thought. So getting the, additional of each, oh, that's what it was. So whatever you sell in a week, okay, whatever you sell in a week, so let's say hypothetically this week you sell 500 pieces, okay? 500 pieces this week, and for some of you like, oh my gosh, okay, well if you're not there yet, then what do you have to do to push, right? So 500 pieces, whatever, if that's what you're doing in a week, the next week you need to replace 500 pieces in your inventory. You are not paparazzi rich yet. You're not going out and buying a new car with that money, okay? You need to keep building your business. So you take those 500 pieces. What I do, last week I sold 1,800 pieces. I divide that by 5. So that means that I can reinvest into daily 360 pieces. You see what I did? 360 times 5, right? Now, if they come out with some kind of hot cheetah or animal print, I'll probably buy more than 360 pieces that day, but then I'll back off on a day when things aren't quite as spicy, right? So whatever you are buying, whatever you are selling, that's what you're buying the next week. And those numbers may look different. There was a week recently where we did 2,700 pieces. That next week, I was able to buy like crazy. But I'm not going to buy things if I don't think that they make sense for my customers. Does that make sense to you? So you're replacing, and what you're doing is you're replacing, and your profit is building while you're replacing. Some people take everything that they make in a week and they buy all of that the next week. That's fine if you want to sink everything back in. But if you're looking about how to build a profit and how to build up inventory, that's the equation. If you sell 100 pieces this week, you divide that by 5, and the next week you buy 20 pieces a day or on average. Does that make sense? Right? So it's an equation to help you build so it doesn't feel overwhelming. I have a 10 by 12 foot space here in New York City. We have a second bedroom. I'm in a Manhattan apartment, and this bedroom is where we run this business. And if you think I have room to stockpile jewelry, there's no room to be stockpiling jewelry. We're selling anywhere. A slow week for us is about 1,200 pieces. A booming week is close to 3,000 pieces. I can't sell that if I don't have it? Okay, that's the piece people say, well, what if I'm sitting on inventory for a while? What if I can't sell those seed beads? Then you put them away and you pull them out on another day, or you take those seed beads and you combine them with something else, right? So that the seed beads, can you see what the room looks like? You're going to ask me that right now when it is a hot mess. I'll flip the camera though. How's that? There, you can get a little taste, because there is jewelry all over the floor right now from our recent lives. Like, that's literally, she wants to see the room when it's like a tornado came up and through here. So a little forewarning, girl, I would straighten up. And it's hard. I'm playing with you, but it's my thing. And people ask me that all the time. So maybe I should do a YouTube, because I do have a YouTube channel with a very small little taste of videos on it. But it's, yeah, I'll have to do a video. I'll do a video. But what you saw, those bins, that's how we organize. Oh, it's okay. Hi, Shauna. The other thing, I get asked this question a lot. Want me to say, I'll do it. You know what? I get asked that question, Crystal, a lot, especially because my space is so small. Oh my gosh, I've been crazy busy. No, it's ridiculous. I said, after I do this training with you today, I need to organize this room, because it looks like, it's crazy, and I can't function like that. But see a lot. Oh, another thing I get asked a lot. Okay, so you're going live, you're buying your inventory. I gave you a few. Well, somebody told me one time when I was a teacher, I had a supervisor come in my classroom, was like a hot mess, and he was like, listen, if this room was nice and neat, I would be worried about you, right? I would be worried about you. Well, and we use, let me see if I could do this, because it's hard for me with how I have my iPad hooked up to show you, but I can show you this. So over here, we could do it as like a little picture tour maybe, right? Let me see. Everything's like in IKEA bins is sort of the essence of it. So let's see, I can get creative. That's what we do, right? So everything's in like IKEA bins, right? And this used to be my hostess rewards. All of this over here, when you get quadruple hostess rewards and you order like I do, they take over your life. So that's what the big hot mess is right now. And then this is a dump table. These are all the packages that I invoiced just yesterday. So these all need to go out, right? So you see the black diamond crown up there? You see it? There it is up there. We should zoom in. I should have a picture of just that, right? Let me see. Let me see. She's up there. She's up there. There she is. You see her? Next to the Heidi in the shadow box. Oh, and there's my sister. So I get asked this a lot too, and it's something that I've been stressing a lot with my team, right? We're in tax season. And you know, that's 1,800 pieces right there. That's what that is. That was last week. And that's not me bragging. I always want to say like that. I'm not trying to sound like I'm being bragging or boasting. I give you those numbers because I want you to know what's possible if you work your tush off. If you set goals and you don't play, you're welcome. Oh, Crystal, you're welcome. And you don't play, that's what's possible. All right, so reeling it back in, because I can go. I get asked this a lot right now because of tax time. I am not an accountant. I don't work for H&R Block. I'm not going to give you tax tips on how to file your income taxes. But my team has been asking me this quite a bit lately. You need to charge sales tax. Write that down. Put a star next to it. Whatever you need. You need to charge sales tax. That is not the same as the tax that you're filing right now with H&R Block. Okay, that's income taxes. That's a whole different TurboTax ball game, right? I'm talking your day-to-day. Do you know how many people I have spoken to recently? I actually had a consultant when I was on the way back from convention last year. she was in the airport and we were sitting there in Vegas and she was talking about business and I was like, oh, sales tax. She's like, oh, I don't charge that. And I said, tell me how many pieces you sold last month. And she told me, and I did the math for her. Let me tell you something. I can't wrap my brain around this. Paparazzi charges you sales tax on every piece that you buy, okay? Write this down. As a New York City gal, I'm being charged, you ready? 44 cents a piece extra on top of what I pay. So I'm paying $2.75 plus 44 cents. Okay, so what's that? I think it's $3.16 I'm being charged. I'm going to get a calculator because when people don't charge sales tax, it's $3.19. Your state sales tax is different than mine. New York City is crapola with sales tax. It's no joke. So let me tell you something. If I didn't charge, look, I'm getting all, if I didn't charge sales tax, I sold 1,800 pieces last week. You ready? You ready? 1,800 times 44 cents on each one of those pieces. Who just threw up in their mouth? I would be giving away $792 to the sky. To the sky. You're already paying sales tax to Paparazzi. When you invoice and get it back, it's like you're neutralizing yourself, okay? You've already paid it. This has nothing to do with your income taxes. This is as important as what I tell you about buying inventory, about going live. Sales tax, and I'm like I said, I'm getting this so much lately from my own team. Yeah, but you know, I don't want to charge. You don't want to charge sales tax? Target charges you sales tax. I keep using Target because we all love Target. You go in Target, you think you're going to buy some, you know, socks, and you leave with a million things. Okay, so you don't feel that the write-off. What write-off? A sales tax write-off? I don't even know what that is. Does that even exist? You're being charged sales tax. Okay? Yeah, I'm like, what write-off? I don't even know about a write-off. I just did my taxes, and there was no tax there about a sales tax. There's no, yeah. You're being charged sales tax by Paparazzi for the state that you live in based on the retail value of a piece. So for $5, Paparazzi is charging me 44 cents when I purchase from them. Do you ever notice you're not being paid $2.07 or charged $2.75? You're being charged $2.75 plus the sales tax. You need to charge it when you invoice to get it back. Otherwise, what you have done, if I don't charge sales tax, I have taken my profit of $2.25, and if I don't get the sales tax back, I'm now making only $1.81 on each piece of jewelry. Okay? I can't reinvest and keep building a business if I'm doing that. Okay? Does that make sense? It's cutting into your I would have lost almost $800 just last week if I didn't charge sales tax. Okay? Lives, inventory, doing your inventory and being a business owner with the correct frame of mind. Okay? Lastly, and you could fire questions at me because you have me. I'm here. I'm yours. Team building. I am not, so you charge, yes, Kayla, absolutely. Absolutely. My invoices, if you get charged, if I'm charging you for 10 pieces, it's $5, and in PayPal, I have it figured out. I forget, sales tax is like, I forget for New York City, 0.8 something. It's pretty big, but it's in my PayPal so that equation, it just works for me. Oh, I use PayPal to invoice. I'm PayPal all the way. Yeah, you are paying. Okay, I want you to, like, I hear so many different things all the time. If you choose not to charge sales tax, then you're basically taking money and you're choosing to go, I don't do that. I don't choose to take my, and none of my customers complain about sales tax because they expect it. And this gal that I talked to in the airport, she started charging sales tax. She's like, well, how do I introduce it now to my customers when I didn't do it before? I said, tell them you went to Vegas and you learned something new, right? Tell them you went to Vegas and you learned something new and you kick it in, right? Your customers are devoted to you because they're devoted to you. If you decide to make a business shift that makes sense, right? Are you able to use a PayPal? Yes. But I don't want to talk, I'll be honest with you. That's why I don't want to get into a tax conversation because it's actually not something I'm comfortable with. I'm talking to you about sales tax because that's actually been taught to me by my upline, and we've gotten information from Paparazzi in the past about sales tax. But income tax, I am not comfortable talking about it. It's something that actually gives me a little anxiety, so I'm going to refrain from answering any of those questions. Team building. Somebody, when I first started, I would say like, oh my gosh, I want to build my team and I need people on my team. And somebody was like, they're not going to join you until they see you being successful. And I said, yeah, but what does that mean? And he said, well, that's different for different people. Different people will connect with your story. Some people will connect when they start seeing the dollars and things that you're making. Some people will connect with you when they see life experiences, right? Like I knew my life changed when I walked in with my debit card and bought the best MacBook Pro at the Apple store. I knew things were different, right? I've never heard that, Amanda. I mean, if you want to call Paparazzi girlfriend and get some information on that, but I've never heard any of that. I have never heard that. I mean, I'm not saying that you're incorrect, but I'm just going on what I've been trained, and that training has also been from corporate. There have been things that have come out that said sales tax versus income tax. You can certainly search those. I'm sure it's somewhere in your back office. But I know that there was an email that came out. Gosh, I don't even know when, to be honest with you. But it was like a little telling you the differences between them. But I've never heard that. But my thing is, if you are hearing something that you're not clear about, you call corporate. That's why they're there. They have people that answer those types of questions. For me, I just go on the training that I've received from my upline, I have people from, Ty and Debbie Parkin to Michelle Johnny to Natalie Hadley, Robin Frank. Like I go on what they've trained me, and also I validate it through the information I get from corporate. So, I don't want it to be a Heidi Bound said. If you're not sure, call them. So team building, different people will see different parts of your success, and those are the things that they'll relate to, right? So there are some people that want to join my team because they know what Black Diamond is, they know what this is, there are those people that want it for that reason. There are people that want to connect with my team because I keep it very real as a leader. There are people that want to join my team because I put out there how my life has changed, and I put out like the dollars and cents, right? So people can see that too. Your biggest recruiting tool is what you're doing to work your business. I'm not that girl. I don't go cold, what do they call it? Cold recruiting, warm. I don't do that. I don't go. If people show interest, then I'll have some conversation with them about the business. But my whole thing is too, I'm more of a girl that I want quality on my team versus quantity on my team. And attraction marketing is the way to do it. Post those pictures of, we just bought a car. We just went and bought a gorgeous car with paparazzi money. And you better believe that I posted a picture of that. Is it bragging? Maybe some people will view it that way. But those that don't view it that way are either happy for you, or they're looking at your shift in lifestyle and they want the same thing. Does that make sense? So, in summary, unless you have questions, like fire them at me, but not about income taxes. In summary, our 14-year-old Pomeranian is up on the beanbag chair snoring. I can't. I did everything that I did while I was teaching full time, and I did it because I wanted it. I wanted it. I wasn't going to settle. Right now is Rock the Runway. It's heated. It's hot. It's no joke. People ask, how did you do it? I worked really hard. And let me tell you what, there were a lot of tears around this necklace. I was at the top of the leaderboard. And by the top, I mean top 5. Most weeks, first or second place. In February, I didn't get it. In March, I didn't get it. April, and I didn't even know what Rock the Runway was. Like Michelle Johnny, one of my uplines, she was like, you know, you're the top of the leaderboard. And there you go. And drop the mic. Is it Adriana? Drop the mic, girlfriend. Michelle Johnny was like, you're the top of the leaderboard for Rock the Runway and you can get a Z. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Because I was so new. All this stuff was like a whirlwind, right? And she's like, no, it's a Z necklace. It's like, it's such a big deal. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, Michelle, I'm just working my business. Like, I'm just doing my thing. And do I ever do? I get asked that. I've been getting asked that personal trainings question a lot recently. And the answer to that currently is no, but I may need to start reconsidering that. Kaylin, yeah. And it's not that I didn't ever really, I guess I shouldn't say reconsider, I just didn't really ever think about it, you know. I'm just finding out more and more recently that people actually want to hear what I have to say. But February I didn't get it, March I didn't get it, and April I actually worked with that as kind of a goal in mind. I was recruiting like crazy. I was selling like crazy. I was like, you know what, whatever this Z necklace thing is, I can make it happen because look how close I've come these last 2 months. So April I worked and worked and worked, and I was at the top of the leaderboard, second place, first place, and I didn't get it at the end of the month. And to tell you that I was crushed, like I actually had my Papa Mama and Julia Willingham, who is my Papa Grandma, calling me, and they were like, because I was so upset, and they're like, no, you can't give up. And I said, no, listen, this isn't about giving up. This is about getting my priorities straight. I cannot focus on a Z necklace when I can't. I'm like, I did everything that I can and everything that I could. And my goal had to be retiring, right? I was like, I'm going to retire. That's my goal. I can't be like killing myself over something that was never really in the picture to begin with. Does that make sense? So, May, I worked my business and I kept in mind that my goal was to retire. So May, I worked like crazy. I was like, this is it. This is my last month, you know, before June. And I have to make sure this is something I can do. So May, I kind of went, I put it back here because I knew. And I didn't get it in May, and I was like okay with it because I knew that that was far from my, you know, off my radar. And June for me, June of 2018 was life-changing. At the beginning of June, in my last month of teaching, I also made the decision that I was going to push and push and push to hit elite. So I am elite. I am executive producer. Pushing for fashionista. It'll happen soon, this month, next month, who knows. But at the beginning of June, while I was trying to retire, I also said I want to hit elite because I knew I wanted to be elite before my first convention. June 12th, the phone rang, and it was Cassidy Beams. And I have gotten phone calls from Paparazzi before, but they went right to voicemail, like congratulating me on life of the party or, you know, whatever. But this one actually rang through, and I answered it, and the sweet voice on the other end said, "Hi, Heidi, this is Cassidy Beams. I'm the lead stylist." I'm thinking, I know who you are, okay? You don't have to tell me, I know. And she said, "I hope I'm not calling you too late, but I wanted to let you know that through the 4-month Rock the Runway competition," and this is where I get like, woo, through the 4-month Rock the Runway competition, you had the highest points. And so we are honoring you with a Z Collection necklace in your name, to which I then lost my mind, hysterically crying. I don't really know exactly what she said next, except she asked me if I could be at a Rock the Runway practice in Vegas, and I was like, yeah, I'll be there. So that was June 12th. June 26th, I walked out of a public school for the very last time, which was my ultimate goal, right? And 2 days later, on June 28th, I hit elite. So the bottom line with what I want you to walk away with today is that there are no excuses. If you want it bad enough, you make it happen. And sometimes things happen even when you don't know that you really want it, right? I didn't really know how much I wanted this, but I'll tell you what, if I had gone to a convention and not been one of those 10 girls, I don't know where I'd be in my headspace right now. How did you do it working full-time? I feel overwhelmed full-time, wanting to retire also full-time. I think the biggest answer to that, Joanne, is I had to set a really strict schedule for myself. I will say that I was fortunate in the fact that I would come home from work and my husband was really supportive, and it's the two of us, right? So I don't have those moments with kids that, you know, are unexpected. And I mean, I do have a nephew that I take pretty close care of. Those of you who follow me, you know about Cutie. But I didn't have those sort of like unexpected moments. Those were kind of rare for me after school. So if I had a set schedule, like if I was invoicing on this day or shipping on that day, I was able to be pretty tight about it. So I think if you have, especially if you are taking care of a family member, Joanne, like my suggestion to you is to figure out your paparazzi schedule. And it may be different for you than it would be for me, right? It will be different. You may not be able to go live for 3 hours 3 times a week. And now I didn't really mention that. Now I'm live 3 times a week, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday night, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, for 4 hours each time. And I also run a really active business page. But Joanne, your life might be different. You might not be able to go live 3 times a week, but you may be able to do a quick speed shopping video, right? It's just about constantly being visible to your customers, and constantly thinking in that business mindset, right? So if they haven't seen you with new pieces for a while, what could you do? You should have a business page. I don't believe in VIP groups. That's a whole different part of me that, you know, we didn't get into. I am a firm believer in a business page and only a business page. VIP groups, that means that I have to approve you to shop with me. And if I'm going to go shop at Target, I don't want to be approved. That's just me, and that's a whole different thing. But my business page has about 2,500 likes. I'm using ManyChat, so I have over, and I just started that since DR, and I have over 600 subscribers. So when new releases come out today and I send out a ManyChat blast, I have 600 customers that are hopping on my business page. I had to hit elite, I know. So Joanne, make that schedule, girl. You make that schedule. Oh, you're welcome, everybody. So Amanda, one big suggestion, and I know that you've talked about ManyChat. It's been life changing for my business page. And you are more than welcome to go, like, I am an open book. If you want to check out my business page, not for, you know, it's not about going there shopping. It's if you want to see the setup. I have an album, it's called 24-Hour Madness, so I'm constantly changing the inventory on there like every 24 to 48 hours to keep that album fresh. It's a way for me to pull things out of stock that people haven't seen for a while, because you can't be live 24 hours a day, right? But it's Gotham City Bling by Heidi. You are more than welcome to go check it out on Facebook. How do you get customer volume? The first thing I want you to do, Amanda, is, and we just ran into this on my team yesterday, make sure that your settings, and you're going to go, no, I know I'm fine. No, you don't know you're fine, because Facebook's always changing things. Make sure that not only is your page public, but when you're going live, it's public. And here's the clincher. Write it down. Here's the issue that I ran into yesterday. Make sure your comments are public. So go to your settings, and I think it says public posts, right? Make sure your comments are public. If not, I could come into your show, and if we're not Facebook friends, I could share it. Well, even if we are Facebook friends, I could share you to my friends. If your comments are not public, my friends, who are not your friends, cannot comment. Go look. Okay? And customer volume, Amanda, is about, you need to be going live at least twice a week for 3 hours at a time. If you need to work on building up to that, that's great. But at least 3 hours at a time. Here's why. My numbers are up here. I'm up over 100 viewers when I start a live. They dip down. Why? Because mommy's putting little Johnny to bed, getting the lunches ready for tomorrow, right? And then after Johnny's in bed, my numbers spike back up. If you're not on for at least 3 hours, you're not giving it enough time for the spike. You're also, I'm on the East Coast. If I'm not on long enough, I'm not giving my West Coast California customers enough time to get home from work and come hang out with me. Does that make sense? Business mindset. ManyChat is a free service and it sounds like Crystal's saying that there's lots of trainings on it. So go check out your team page, but it's a free service to send out a text blast, and customers can opt in or opt out at any time. All right. Any other questions? Crystal, Ash, is there anything? You never see new people. That's probably what it is, Amanda. It's a simple little click, click, click. Yeah. I go live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I go until midnight. I used to do 7 o'clock when I was teaching, only because I would go to 11 o'clock at night, and then the next day I had to get up at 5:30 in the morning, right? So I had to do what worked for me, and I think, was it Joanne that asked? You've got to figure out a schedule that works for you. So many people try to base it on, when do I think I'll get the most people on? If you are consistent, oh, hey Joanna, how are you? If you are consistent, people will know to look for you, and then they'll start scheduling it into their lives, right? I'm not a big TV watcher, but if your favorite show comes on every Tuesday night at 10 p.m., you're going to make sure that you go and watch it. If they start showing your favorite show at on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. and they let you know, you're going to start scheduling it into your life, right? Samantha, you are not going live long enough. Now, I also think it's important to build up to that, right? So if you're doing 1 to 2 hours, you're not giving enough time for that ebb and flow, right? You're not giving enough time for people to leave and come back. So what I would do is I would start to, the next time you go on, add 15 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever your comfort level is, right? Yeah, I could throw on the camera right now. I'm never on in the afternoon, but I could go on right now and probably sell 200 pieces, because my customers are connected to me and they don't want to miss what I'm doing. Recommend being live for about 3 hours. I have a hard time knowing how long. At least, if you can do the 4 hours, Facebook will actually, like someone just said, give you a countdown and start to like warn you, like, hey, we're about to kick you off. After 4 hours, if you could build up and you have the inventory, see, you need the inventory. If you don't have it, you can't sell it, right? You need it. If you have the inventory and you have the stamina, like I can get on a, like I 4 hours fly by for me, but I love what I'm doing. Then, excuse me, push yourself. Okay, push yourself. Any other questions? And Crystal and Ash, if there's anything that more specific to your group that I didn't touch on, yeah, you have to have the inventory. And so if you're saying I'm only going on for 1 to 2 hours, well, that could also be that you don't have enough inventory to show, right? So the other piece of that is, and I tell my group this all the time, if you're showing individual pieces all the time over and over again, your customers are going to get sick of seeing the same thing. So before the rush of new releases, if you have, I'm just going to grab something. If you have these earrings, right? I keep everything in baggies. I'm like the Ziploc queen. If you have these earrings and you've had them sitting for a while, right? Before the crazy cuckoo-ness of new releases, go into the back office and find a necklace that would look cute with these and buy a few. Because then what you do is you bring it to your live with the earrings and the necklace as a set, and I'll give this a number. Say this is 421. I'll show my earrings and my necklace, and 421 gets sold first as a set, which means that what I'm doing is I'm not just making $5, I'm now, or selling it for $5, I'm selling it for 10, right? Keep showing I would use, Addie, the tip that I just gave, and shop your back office for pieces that you can show together, or shop your inventory for pieces you can show together, right? Because the more you're doing that, then things start to look different, right? So if I just show the Viper earrings, they're gorgeous, but if I show Viper with the Heidi, it's a whole different look, right? Yeah, so keep building up. It's constantly about growth, and use that tip that I gave you about whatever you've sold. Whatever you've sold, that's what you need to be reinvesting at least that many pieces the next week. Okay, at least that many pieces. So it feels like we're winding down, and I want to thank Crystal and Ash for inviting me. What an honor to be here. Love you girls, and so glad that we crossed paths. What a blessing, right? And I told Crystal, I said, I saw you at convention, and we just kind of, I was running around like insane. And so in DR, we actually had a chance to talk. I am ridiculously live ridiculously fast in my lives. Yeah, so fast in my lives. I show insane amounts of pieces during my live. And I also don't go back. I don't keep numbers on my pieces. I will pick up, say, a pair of, we'll use those earrings. These might be number 421. I show them. I'll say, girls, you know what? 421. If you want them, you better grab them now because I'm not going back. I changed my format of my lives, which is a whole different training. I was never mean to you, Ash. I have no idea what you're doing. You know I love you. And you know that I was kidding, right? And playing with you. You were mean too, I think. Now I changed my whole format. It used to be very traditional. 50 hooks, 50 pieces. I would show each thing. I would tell you how you could wear it, and that was fine. But lives are evolving, and you need to evolve with them. And now I go really fast. I don't go back. I blow through tons of styles like this. No, you're okay. I said I taught kids for how many years? It doesn't, I get back on. I get back. It's all good. But really, really fast. And then I'll also do things like, Crystal, I hope I'm not taking up too much time. I get excited. I can't help it. I'll also do things like, hold on, this is a perfect example. Put these purple earrings back here. Like this would be like a set, right? So I have the earrings. This is a set that I put together. The ring. Here's a second ring because some people might want another ring. So my sets aren't just It turned a little red. Another pair of earrings. So I'll pull a few things together, and there's probably a necklace in here, just in a bracelet. A few things together. It might be a set of 6 things, because what my customers love is they love to see how they can mix and match the pieces. Okay, and so I show those. I give each thing a number, but if they want the whole set, they let me know that as well. But it's about getting creative with your inventory, right? It's about getting creative with your inventory. And, you know, I don't do, like, my boards with the hooks are over there with nothing on them. Like, they've been sitting over there. My setup now is plastic baggies in the Paparazzi boxes. I pull a bunch of stuff that I want to show, and I'm like this. So with that, I am live again tomorrow night, Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You are more than welcome to come and watch. You are more than welcome to follow me. Please don't send me friend requests. You are more than welcome to follow me. You are more than welcome to check out my business page. Again, not with the lens of shopping, but the lens of learning. Gotham City Bling by Heidi. I do my lives on my personal page. And I ask, though, that a couple of things, just that sounds like common courtesy, but trust and believe it's happened to me. If you come to my live, please do not poach my customers. If you come to my live, please do not get on there and say, hey, I'm a paparazzi consultant. I had people come on to my live, and if I ran out of something, they would be like, oh, yeah, but you can message me because I have more of that necklace. Do not do those things. They're tacky. They're not good business. No, I accept friend requests from customers, just not other. I try not to accept a lot of friend requests from consultants because it messes up your algorithm. Okay, I don't go live on my business page because I haven't needed to at this point. The personal page just works for me. I mean, I certainly can make that shift at this point because I've built my business page up enough. But it's personal preference, I guess. I also ask, please, do not poach my customers. It's happened to me. I've gone in and done trainings with teams, and I'm not saying that's going to happen here, Crystal, but I'm just putting it out there just know that it's not good business. So please don't come on poaching, mentioning that you have pieces. If I don't do any of those things. It's basically that whole golden rule, right? Do unto me what you'd want done to you. Yeah. And it just, I allow my team to come on and announce that they're on my team because I want people to see that there's that kind of support. But don't come on trying to get business. I've worked really hard for what I do, and you need to do the same. Right? That's simple. And that's when you'll see the New Yorker in me come out. Yeah, don't do it. And yeah. Moving on. All right, so any last things? Hopefully I hit on a bunch of things. Crystal and Ash, let me know if anything comes up. I'll be happy to give you some more specific information, or if there's something you need me to clarify in due time, I would be happy to do that as well. Keep setting your goals. My goal was that I was going to hit Black Diamond again for this year, and I did in January. There you go, Crystal. I hit Black Diamond again in January. Working hard on ranking up, but that will happen when it's meant to happen, right? Yeah, I can't get another Z necklace, so that one's off the radar. But set your goals, set them high, set them scary, and then do the work. Do the work. No one's going to hand it to you, right? My pleasure. You are both amazing. I love you both. You're true blessings. They're making it. I was gonna say I could tell you what my PV is for this year. And I'm selling it, girls. I'm not building igloos in here with these boxes. Yeah, they may have to make a new, I don't know. What is my PV for this year since the beginning of July? Let me see. I'll tell you. I'm an open book, because here's the deal. I tell you these things because if you work like crazy, you could do it too. So my PV I'm looking. Since the beginning of July is 103,782. 103,782 since the beginning of July. My rolling 12-month PV, and again, selling it, okay, is 155,386. 155,386. I hit Black Diamond as a full-time special education teacher in the inner city, because Life of the Party runs till the end of June, and I didn't leave teaching until June 26th. So I did all of that, okay? All of that while I was teaching. And again, not stockpiling the jewelry, girls, because I don't have room. And guys, I'm not sure if you have any guys on your team. So, all right, with that, I have to go do some work. But Crystal, maybe for you, maybe you'll be my inspiration. I'll eventually at some point do a YouTube on how I organize this kind of tiny space, considering. So thank you. Let me know if anything comes up, and set your goals, scare yourself, and make them happen, because you're worth it, okay? Love to you, Crystal, love to you, Ash, and love to your team. I can only wish the best, okay? Wish you absolutely the best. Bye. You're very welcome, everybody. You're welcome.